for talk is over.
If you grew up in the 1980s, or were cool enough to fall down some classic pop culture rabbit holes, then you know exactly what the words, "I have the power," mean. Yes, guys, we're talking about He-Man, and more particularly about the man who was associated with these words for almost, 40 years? Dolph Lundgren. Back in 1987, he took on the mantle of He-Man, the champion of Eternia, and holy shit, was he iconic as hell. I mean, yeah, sure, the film was more of a cult classic than a box office hit, but no one can deny that Dolph Lundgren was He-Man. He was him. And now, fast forwarding to 2026, we're finally getting that reboot. It's moved past decades of being stuck in development and is ready to grace our screens. This time with a high budget. It'll be directed by Travis Knight, with a script written by Chris Butler, Aaron Nee, Adam Nee, and David Callahan. And of course, Nicholas Galitzine will take up the mantle of Prince Adam. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed with how he looks for that role. But when Amazon announced this live-action return, the most pressing question on my mind was simple. Will the OG He-Man, Dolph Lundgren, return? Well, we're more than happy to say, yes, absolutely. But he won't be playing the role you expect. Of course, the rumor mill had been churning for a while, and I gotta say, mad respect for Dolph Lundgren and how he kept his involvement and his role completely under wraps. Back in 2025, when he was asked about the new film and whether we'd see him in it, he was cryptic as hell. All he said was, "It's a bit of a secret, but I can't say much. But yeah, maybe I'll get involved somehow. We'll see." Is that a no? Is that a yes? Who knows, right? That's when our internet sleuths went full-on detective mode. Everyone was giving their theories about what or who Dolph Lundgren could be playing, whether it was an older He-Man, some multiverse version of Prince Adam, or something even deeper in the lore. And then something happened. Around Toy Fair 2026, fan photos and toy display chatter pointed to a king-like statue holding a sword blade that looked suspiciously close to the 1987-style Power Sword. Naturally, everyone took that as a signal and jumped on it like hungry sharks. And I totally get why, because it would make sense for him to play King Grayskull. In the 2002 continuity, King Grayskull was introduced as an ancestor of Prince Adam and a legendary ancient ruler of Eternia. He was basically the ancient warrior and guardian figure of that era. And most importantly, after Grayskull died, his power became tied to the power sword that He-Man eventually carries. That's exactly why the central castle is named Castle Grayskull. So the two characters are very clearly connected. And given that Dolph played the OG He-Man, him returning as the original ruler of Eternia would make complete sense. Even the depiction of Grayskull atop Battle Lion matches that heroic mythic He-Man energy. And since most of these sci-fi fantasy films start off with epic, historic, world-setting narrations, everyone was expecting Dolph to appear as Grayskull in a flashback sequence at the very beginning of the film. Maybe as he's battling the Horde, or maybe in a flashback showing his power being absorbed into the Power Sword. But these rumors started to fall apart quickly as we got more info and insider reports. And that's when we found out that the filmmakers had actually chosen a very different and very grounded appearance for Dolph. You see, at the Los Angeles premiere for the movie at the TCL Chinese Theater on May 18th, 2026, Dolph Lundgren was there, walking the red carpet and all. So of course, the cameo is happening. And at the event, he stood next to Nicholas Galitzine, with both of them holding the iconic Power Sword together, almost as if they were passing down the torch from Dolph to Nicholas. Interestingly, that does tease a little bit of the nature of Dolph's cameo too, because then, in red carpet comments reported by outlets, Dolph finally broke his silence and gave us a little more insight into his appearance. He said, "I'm in it. I have a small role. At some point in the movie, when he needs some crucial advice, I show up and I give it to him when he needs it the most. It was surreal working on it because it was like talking to a younger version of myself. So he's obviously playing a sort of mentor figure to Nicholas Galatzin's He-Man in a very, very brief appearance. Quick spoiler warning here, Dolph's appearance is confirmed, but the exact gym scene details come from reports and leaks, so treat the next part as reported cameo information until the film itself locks it in on screen. Reportedly, Dolph is going to make his appearance at a gym on Earth where Prince Adam goes to train, and he'll basically be playing an older mentor, giving him advice and speaking to him in front of a mirror before sending him off by saying, "Good journey." And hey, that's a great callback to 1987. Remember guys, this is in the context of the present film, and this new iteration actually changes Prince Adam's background. Here, he's Adam Glenn, a former prince of Eternia who was separated from his home for 15 years and raised on Earth for his own protection. So naturally, he spends a lot of time completely unaware of his past or his destiny. He must also have been confused as hell about why he has such insane levels of physical strength. And where better to explore that angle than the gym? It actually has quite an emotional element to it. Adam, who will be struggling with his identity and navigating all the confusion, will be guided by the OG veteran. And who knows, maybe that'll be the turning point for Adam when he finally has some clarity and embarks on his epic journey. Now, I know this cameo doesn't sound like much, and a lot of us think that Grayskull would have actually been a better role for Dolph, but this cameo actually means a lot more. Yeah, sure, it's small, but it's symbolically quite meaningful. Nicholas Galatzine has gone through some grueling training sessions to do the whole physical transformation to become He-Man, and he's been pretty open about how it's the hardest thing he's ever done. And hey, we see the results, so we understand the dedication. And now imagine him having the original live-action He-Man step onto the set and give him guidance and a pep talk in the very setting where he's sweated his ass off for God knows how many months. That has its own meaning and impact. And with this cameo, Dolph isn't getting some whole new role to take up. Instead, he's basically playing a version of himself, a man who knows the struggle of being He-Man and wants to help out the next generation. It's a surprisingly meta-narrative approach, and to me, that sounds like a pretty full-circle moment. I like that the moment won't be overshadowed by CGI or special effects, and it'll be just one of those quiet and respectful cameos. It gives the well-needed and deserved nod to history, while still allowing Nicholas Galatzine to take up the torch and lead this new era as He-Man. But what do you guys think? Are you still hoping Dolph is secretly Grayskull? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such movie news. We'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.